I recently took a trip to Panama, and it was during Carnival. It's the same Carnival that they celebrate in the U.S. right before Ash Wednesday, on Monday and Tuesday. And it's all sorts of festivities. There's attractions, there's food, dancing, and all sorts of stuff.
Wow, I wonder if they're dancing to the style called musica typica. It's very popular in Panama. It combines styles of like the traditional folk music, and then they have like upbeat rhythms, and then they get a pop influence from the U.S. and also a reggae influence from Puerto Rico, and they also use like some salsa in there as well.
Salsa. Speaking of food, Zach, I hope you try the ropa viaje. It's shredded beef with tomato, garlic, onion, and a little bit of paprika. It's served with rice and fried plantains. The one thing that really stood out to me was the beef. It's so much tastier and tougher than the beef in the United States. I've learned that this is because of the history behind the beef. There's a difference between the beef in Central America and the rest of the continent. Remember when Christopher Columbus came to the Americas? He brought a bunch of livestock such as cattle. So the modern Western livestock cattle came from Europe, which is the Bos Taurus, and the Panamanian beef came from India, which is like the Bos Indicus, which evolved into the Brahmin. The Brahmin cattle has like such a reflective coat and dark skin, which helps keep out the sun rays. This makes them better suited for the tropical weather.
Speaking of food, Zach, if you went to the Panama Canal, there's like an overlook with the Miraflores Lock Museum, and at the very top floor of the museum is a restaurant that you can eat at and enjoy some of their most famous dishes. And also, while you're there, you can enjoy the Panama Canal, see the extraordinary man-made structure. It's kind of like our Hoover Dam, if you've ever been there in Nevada. They're both great engineering areas and show amazing talent.
All right, and actually, since you mentioned the Panama Canal, another holiday I learned about while I was there was Martyrs' Day, which was meant to honor the people that died during some riots that happened when a Panamanian flag was mistakenly torn down during an anti-U.S. protest since the U.S. was occupying the canal at the time.
Speaking of riots, at Casco Viejo, which is another, this was a city built after the destruction of the old one in 1671. It had a huge wall around it to protect the civilians from pirate attacks, which is kind of like our Jamestown settlement, which was walled and protect our settlers from attacks. And it was once said to be the focus of Panama and built it, but like as Panama continued to grow, it just kind of got pushed aside, kind of like as Virginia started to grow, people started to visit other areas and push Jamestown to the side.
Right. And I was thinking about making another trip to Panama in November during what they call Fiestas Patrias, which is a term they use to describe all of their patriotic holidays, which all take place in November. They have two Independence Days, one from Colombia and one from Spain. After their Colombian Independence Day, they have Flag Day, and then they have Colón Day, which is when citizens of the town of Colón stopped the Colombians from marching on Panama, and it would have cost Panama their independence. Let's see. It's a lot like the U.S. As far as their biggest holidays are either based around either religion or mostly nationalism. And there's a lot of festivities that go on pretty much the whole month to commemorate these events.
That's very interesting. I wonder if Panama's famous musician, Briana, has performed. I heard that he's a big salsa star over there, and he gained most of his recognition and work by working with Willie Colon, who also was really big in the olden times. Like, he's like the Beyonce of Panama.
Really? I've heard his favorite snack were fried plantains. He would like put sugar and like cinnamon, have that sweet and like kind of sour, savory type of snack. It's kind of like how we like chips here in the United States.
On your next trip, Zach, you should go to Isla Taboga. It's located about 20 kilometers off from Panama, but it's a beautiful place to go. It was first settled in 1515, and it's known as the Island of Flowers because at certain times of the year when you go, there are so many flowers, and you just get like an aroma of different flowers. But visitors here and people that live there, they can enjoy the beach, ride boats, fish, ride jet skis. And I know, like, during the summer, my family goes to Smith Mountain Lake, which is close to Roanoke, Virginia, where we enjoy the water, soak up the sun, ride jet skis. So it's kind of like the same thing, just in a different area.
Yeah, which actually, that kind of stinks because I'll be there in the more wintertime, the cooler months when, towards December when they have their Christmas celebrations because religion and, like I mentioned, patriotism are some of their biggest things, just like in the U.S.
Well, I'm sure when you go and you're like walking the streets of Panama, listen out for some of their most famous instruments that they have there. They have the La Menojonera, which is a 5-string guitar that you might see people playing, or they have the Lobocana, which is a 4-string guitar. And then they make their drums out of like tree trunks, so they're called los tambores. And they also have a la cuchara. So if you see people walking on the street with sticks and just, rubbing against the ground or the walls, remember.
Zach, remember to try yuca frita, which is fried yuca. It's kind of like how we love fries in the United States. They love yuca.